There's something extraordinary inside every one of us, a spark that's just waiting to be ignited. But most people never experience the full fire of that potential because they've built walls around what they believe is possible. Every single day, we're told to be realistic, to settle, to be grateful for what we have. And while gratitude is powerful, settling is poison. You were not designed to live small. You were designed to grow, to expand, to create something greater every single day of your life. Think about it. Everything that exists today, everything we use, every breakthrough started in someone's mind as a bigger thought. The airplane, the smartphone, the electric car, the internet, they were all crazy ideas before they became reality. The people who changed the world weren't any smarter or luckier. They simply refused to think within the box. They made a decision to think bigger every day, even when no one else believed it was possible. The truth is, your life will only grow to the size of your vision. If your vision is limited, your results will be limited. But when you start to expand that vision, when you start to stretch your thinking beyond your current circumstances, everything begins to shift. New opportunities appear, new energy flows. You start attracting the kind of life that matches your higher thoughts. But it's not just about dreaming big once, it's about thinking bigger every day, training your mind like a muscle, refusing to shrink back into comfort and asking better questions. Instead of, can I do this? Start asking, how can I make this happen? Instead of focusing on what's missing, focus on what's possible. Because what you focus on, you feel. And what you feel, you act upon. This is your time to rise beyond average thinking, to let go of limits, excuses, and fears that no longer serve you, to choose a greater life, not someday, but today. Because when you think bigger every day, you don't just change your future, you change who you are in this very moment. And that's where transformation begins. The power of expanding your vision beyond your current limitations lies at the heart of every great transformation. Human potential is not defined by what we currently see or experience, but by what we believe we can reach for. Most people live their lives confined by invisible walls they have built around themselves, walls made of fear, doubt, and the opinions of others. They measure what's possible by what has already happened instead of what could happen. But the truth is, the only real limitation that exists is the one you accept in your mind. When you decide to expand your vision, you begin to tap into the infinite creative force that has driven every great achievement in history. Every extraordinary success story began with a person who refused to accept the boundaries of their current situation. They saw something bigger when others saw nothing. The moment you allow your mind to stretch beyond the conditions you live in, you awaken new levels of creativity, confidence, and clarity. Expanding your vision means daring to imagine more for your life, not because you're ungrateful for where you are, but because you recognize there's more within you to give. It's about shifting your focus from survival to expansion, from limitation to possibility. The mind has an incredible ability to adapt to the size of your vision. When you think small, your energy, actions, and opportunities shrink to fit that smallness. But when you think big, when you set goals that challenge and excite you, your mind begins to operate on a higher frequency. You start to notice chances you would have overlooked before. You attract new ideas, new people, and new paths that align with your expanded vision. This is not fantasy, it's psychology. The human brain is wired to find solutions to the questions it's asked. When you think bigger, you ask bigger questions, and your subconscious mind goes to work finding the answers. Expanding your vision also requires courage, because stepping beyond what you know means embracing uncertainty. But that's where growth lives. The people who achieve greatness are not those who never feel fear. They're the ones who feel it and move forward anyway. They understand that comfort is the enemy of progress. When you allow yourself to think bigger, you give yourself permission to fail, learn, and evolve. You stop living as a prisoner of your past and start living as a creator of your future. Every time you challenge a limitation, you open a new door of potential. And every time you stretch your vision, you stretch your life. Belief systems are the foundation upon which every result in life is built. They shape how we see the world, how we interpret experiences, and ultimately how we act. Most people think that success starts with strategy, talent, or opportunity, but it truly begins with belief. What you believe about yourself, about what's possible, and about the world around you becomes the blueprint for your reality. If you believe you're limited, you'll find evidence to prove it. If you believe you're capable of more, your mind will begin to find the path to make it happen. The mind doesn't operate on truth, it operates on belief. Whatever you repeatedly tell yourself becomes the truth you live by. From the moment we're born, we absorb beliefs from our family, schools, and society. Some of these beliefs serve us while others trap us. They become invisible chains that dictate how far we allow ourselves to go. For example, if someone grows up believing that success is only for the lucky or the privileged, they unconsciously hold themselves back from opportunities that could change their lives. On the other hand, a person who believes that growth is always possible sees every challenge as a chance to expand. The difference between these two people is not intelligence or circumstance, it's belief. Changing your belief system is not about wishful thinking, it's about consciously choosing the thoughts that empower you instead of the ones that limit you. Beliefs are built through repetition and emotion. When you continuously focus on empowering ideas and reinforce them with strong emotion, your brain starts to wire those thoughts as reality. That's why visualization, affirmations, and consistent action are so powerful. They help reprogram the subconscious mind to align with a higher vision of who you are. Once your beliefs shift, your actions follow naturally, and your life begins to change in ways that once seemed impossible. The most successful people in the world are those who have mastered their beliefs. They refuse to let fear or doubt dictate their decisions. They believe deeply that they are meant for more, even when they have no proof yet. That belief becomes the fuel that drives them through obstacles, rejection, and uncertainty. When you start to believe that you are capable of achieving extraordinary things, you open yourself to a new level of confidence and energy. You begin to act differently, speak differently, and attract differently. Belief becomes the invisible force that moves you from where you are to where you want to be, because your external world is always a reflection of your internal world. Change your beliefs and you change your entire life experience. Thinking bigger is not a one-time decision, it's a daily discipline that transforms your mind, emotions, and behavior. The power of daily habits in shaping your destiny cannot be overstated. Every day, your thoughts create momentum, either pulling you closer to your potential or anchoring you to mediocrity. The mind is like a muscle. It grows stronger through consistent use. When you deliberately practice thinking bigger every day, you condition yourself to expect more from life and from yourself. You stop reacting to circumstances and start creating them. Each morning becomes an opportunity to expand your vision, to challenge small thinking, and to take actions that align with the person you want to become. Habits of thought are powerful because they operate automatically. Most people live in patterns of limitation without even realizing it. They wake up with the same worries, replay the same doubts, and settle for the same routines. Over time, that mental repetition hardens into a belief that life cannot change. But when you consciously replace those patterns with empowering thoughts, you begin to shift your reality. Thinking bigger every day means asking better questions. What's possible today? How can I grow from this? What if this challenge is an opportunity in disguise? Those questions rewire your focus from limitation to expansion, and where focus goes, energy flows. Momentum doesn't come from massive leaps. It comes from consistent steps. The small daily decisions to stretch your thinking create compounding results. When you visualize your goals each morning, when you remind yourself of your purpose, when you push through discomfort instead of retreating, you're building a new identity. You're telling your mind that growth is the new normal, that consistency is what separates dreamers from achievers. Big thinkers are not necessarily smarter or luckier. They simply train their minds to see potential where others see obstacles, and they do it every single day. The act of thinking bigger every day also builds emotional resilience. The more you practice seeing opportunity instead of limitation, the less fear and doubt can control you. You develop a mindset of curiosity instead of caution. You start to trust yourself more deeply because you've built evidence of growth through daily action. Each time you overcome a small limitation, you strengthen your belief in what's possible. Over time, that momentum becomes unstoppable. You begin to live with greater clarity, confidence, and conviction. you start making decisions based on where you want to go, not where you've been. The habit of thinking bigger every day turns potential into progress and dreams into direction. It's not what you do once that changes your life. It's what you train your mind to do consistently that creates lasting transformation. Fear is one of the most powerful emotions a human can experience, and it has the potential to either paralyze or propel you. The difference lies in how you use it. Most people see fear as a signal to stop, to retreat into safety, but those who achieve greatness see it as fuel, a sign that they're stepping into something meaningful, something that matters. Fear often appears right before growth because it lives in the gap between who you are and who you're becoming. When you learn to turn fear into fuel, you transform it from an obstacle into an ally. Instead of allowing it to control your choices, you begin to use it as a compass that points you toward your greatest opportunities. Every major breakthrough in history was preceded by moments of fear and uncertainty. Whether it's starting a business, speaking in public, or pursuing a dream, the fear never fully disappears. What changes is the relationship. You build with it. Fear thrives in inaction. It grows louder the longer you wait. But when you move forward despite it, the energy of fear converts into focus, determination, and strength. The very thing that once held you back becomes the fuel that drives you forward. Growth always requires courage because you're stepping into the unknown, but courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to act in spite of it. When you choose to face fear head on, you discover how small it really is. Most fear is created by the mind, built from imagined outcomes that rarely happen. The mind tries to protect you from discomfort, but in doing so, it often protects you from growth. Turning fear into fuel means reframing your perspective, seeing fear not as danger, but as a signal that you're expanding beyond your comfort zone. The greater the fear, the greater the potential for growth on the other side. It's an invitation to step into more power, more confidence, and more freedom. Each time you confront fear, you reprogram your nervous system to associate uncertainty with excitement rather than danger. That's how you build momentum. Action dissolves fear while hesitation feeds it. When you act boldly, even when your heart races and your hands shake, you prove to yourself that you're stronger than your emotions. That's how self-trust is built. Through courage practiced over and over again. Over time, you begin to crave challenges instead of avoiding them because you've learned that fear is not a wall but a doorway. The people who live extraordinary lives are not fearless. They've simply learned to dance with fear until it becomes energy, drive, and fire. The people and environments you surround yourself with play a defining role in how big you think and how far you go. No one grows in isolation. Your mindset, beliefs, and level of ambition are constantly influenced by what you expose yourself to every single day. If you spend time around people who complain, play small, and settle for less, that energy will eventually pull you down to their level. But if you surround yourself with people who challenge you, inspire you, and demand the best from you, your standards rise automatically. Human beings are social mirrors. We reflect the behaviors, attitudes, and expectations of those closest to us. If you want to create a greater life, you must be intentional about who and what you allow into your space. Environments are powerful because they either reinforce your growth or your limitations. The right environment stretches your vision, fuels your drive, and makes you believe that more is possible. When you see others striving for excellence, pushing boundaries, and living with purpose, it awakens something within you. It shows you that greatness isn't reserved for a few. It's available to anyone willing to grow. On the other hand, negative environments drain energy and feed doubt. They make it easy to slip into average thinking. This is why growth requires not just internal work, but also external awareness. You must choose to place yourself in spaces that expand your thinking, not shrink it. The people around you act as mirrors, reflecting your current identity, but also as catalysts for your next level. You need people who won't let you settle, who see the potential in you even when you can't see it yourself. Mentors, coaches, friends, and communities that value growth help you raise your standards and hold you accountable to them. They remind you of who you can become when fear and comfort try to make you forget. Growth is contagious when you are surrounded by it. You start adopting the language, the habits, and the mindset of people who live at a higher level of possibility. Changing your environment is sometimes uncomfortable because it might mean letting go of relationships or spaces that no longer align with your vision. But expansion always requires elevation. And elevation means releasing what no longer serves your growth. When you immerse yourself in environments that nurture your potential, you begin to think, feel, and act differently. Your energy shifts, your goals become bolder, and your actions become more purposeful. The company you keep becomes a reflection of the life you're building, not the one you are leaving behind. The right people and environments don't just influence your growth, they accelerate it, pushing you closer to the extraordinary life you're meant to live.